Borua boy. Good morning. My name is Baba Anthony, and thank you for joining us again for another Ifa Temple service with Okan Ranso de Temple here in Miami. Please let us begin with our morning prayers. Ibashe, Olodumare Obaterekae, Ibashe Maori, Ibashe, Kurumila Eledi Queen, Ibashe to Akota, Ibashe to Asheta, Ibashe to Eshwata, Ibashe to Obatala. Ibashe to all the Ramon on the right hand side of the Lukumani. Ibashe to all the Ramon on the left hand side of the Lukumani. Ibashe to my Lord. Ibashe to my Bona. Ibashe to my mother. Ibashe to my father. Ibashe to all my brothers and sisters and found and wishes to share their wisdom with me. Share. Edge your day. He who hears our pleas and accepts our pleas. He who hears our pleas and approves our pleas. He who talks to us to make sure that our talk is completely absorbed. He who hears our pleas and accepts our pleas in the name of Ifa. He who hears our pleas and approves our pleas is Yeshua God. He who talks to us to make sure that our talk is completely absorbed is Arishanla. Arishanla, you're the one that molds human beings. The one that molds one cannot fail to impress one. It is the striped frog that summons the rainfall. It is the bullfrog that summons the downpour. It is whatever the carriage, the palm tree tells the earth is what the earth accepts. It is whatever the big grass tells the earth is what the earth accepts. All what I tell you, Ifa, please approve and accept. Share. Ifa, I come to you this morning to pray on behalf of all those that are watching. I pray on behalf of the members of the Kairos Soldier Temple, asking for your guidance, graces, and blessings to move that sickness, litigation, loss, contention, all negative things from our life. To God to protect and bless us with the support of Ifa, so that we will always be moving forward to find success. Share. Oh, Tura Irete. To show gratitude upon gratitude is the hour of all gratitude. To display benevolence upon benevolence is the hour of all benevolence. Whoever does not show gratitude for yesterday's benevolence will not receive today's gratuity. These are declarations for 401 in Ramona we're going to marry Okwe, the daughter of Arisha Baluji, Obatala. To also declare to Orumila we're going to marry Okwe, the daughter of Arisha Baluji. I am grateful. I received my gratuity. I am grateful for yesterday's favor. I shall receive today's gratuity. Otur Irete, I am very grateful. Ashe. Àwa dúpẹ́, àwa bùrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ o, àwa bùrẹ́. A dúpẹ́ àná o, a ó bọ̀rẹ̀ torí bọ̀ Olódùmarè. Àwa dúpẹ́, àwa bùrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ o, àwa bùrẹ́. Adúpẹ́ àná ò wá ọ̀pọ̀rẹ̀ torí bọ̀ orí ẹ̀yìn àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́ àwa dúpẹ́ o àwa bùrẹ́ adúpẹ́ àná ò wá ọ̀pọ̀rẹ̀ torí bọ̀ ẹ̀rùn mọ̀lẹ̀ àwa dúpẹ́ àwa bùrẹ́. Àwa dúpẹ́ o, àwa bùrẹ́. A dúpẹ́ àná ò wá ọ̀gbọ̀rẹ̀ torí bọ̀ lẹ́gùn náà fà ṣe. Erosoni Tutu. Pounded yam without soup can be difficult to consume. This was the podcast for a child of grinded daydream. He whose attitude was not acceptable. He was full of bad character. He whose bad attitude prevented him from coming to Ifa's domain. Now we've come to beg on behalf of the teacher. We've come to solicit on behalf of the teacher. Father, please be patient, forgive this provocation. We've come to beg on behalf of the teacher. And remove their crimes. Those who come to beg on behalf of the teacher. Those who come to solicit on behalf of the teacher. How many children does Ifa have that he would cast one out? Those who come to beg on behalf of the teacher. Ifa, I come to pray to you this morning. I'm asking for your support for any of the challenges that we may have caused to ourselves, for any of the challenges that others may have caused to us, that you support us and forgive us for any of the actions that we have done. I'm asking for your guidance and blessings again for all of our members and those watching to continue to support us in all of our endeavors. Ashe. Oh, Fumeji. Hey, Paodu. The King who molds human beings, the King who molds human destiny, the King who supports and assists human beings, the King who molds human character, the King who molds human beings is name given to Orishanla. The King who molds human destiny is name given to Orumila. The King who supports and assists human beings is name given to one's Ori. The King who molds human characters is name given to Olodumare. Oragu Meji are calling you by your formula, which is known as Epa Odu. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life and one's life to be rewarded. You are the ones who help in organizing one's life to be fruitful. Please come and help me organize my life, for it to be blessed with wealth, for it to be blessed with children, for it to be blessed with all the array in life. It is impossible to see the depth of the sea. Do not let people see evil in me. Do not let me be disgraced. It is impossible to see the depth of the river. All what I'm doing, do not let people dig up evil in me. Orangu Meiji, I call you by your formula, which is known as Efaodu. Please let my matters be fruitful and rewarding. Ashe. And as we continue on with this service, I ask that you support all that we do so that our messages can be heard from Okaran Sobe Temple this morning. I'm asking you to continue, God, to protect and bless us always. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Oh, Torah. Tiny on the feet of Tubu, strapped for me, it's not big enough to use his headgear. Hadn't been enough to use his headgear, I've taken it home and adorned my head with it. This was the E5 castle. We're allowed. We're going on a special mission to EJ Boulad. We're calling the locust bean seller. We pay her money. We're calling her Wood Allow with respect in EJ Boulad. I said, oh, Torah. Kegani Ibagi Sa, the actual stripes of trees, the one who cast Ifa for woman is going to receive Iba and Ashe from below Dumare. If an owl says we shall be wealthy, we shall surely be wealthy. Kegani Ibagi Sa, in the mouth of an owl resides Iba and Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have good spouse, we shall certainly have good spouse. Kegani Ibagi Sa, in the mouth of an owl resides Iba and Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have good children, we shall certainly have good children. Kegani Ibagi Sa, in the mouth of an owl resides Iba and Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. If an owl says that we shall have all the array of life, we shall certainly have all the array of life. Akekeni Bagisa, in the mouth of an owl resides Iba and Ashe, in the mouth of an owl. Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Gbogbo tí mo bá máa mọ̀ wí o, èrùmọ̀lẹ̀ ó bà, Ifá ó bà o, Ashe Orisha lẹ́nu mi. Tí mo dúró, tí mo súré, tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀, tí mo súré, tí mo kúnlẹ̀, tí mo súré, tí mo jókòó, tí mo súré, ire tí mo fi wọrí ti bọ́. All right, let us hold our ovaries this morning. Orieni laude yeni o, Orieni laude yeni. Moji laudo mofo mori, Orieni laude yeni. Orieni laude yeni o, Orieni laude yeni. Moji laudo mofo mori, Orieni laude yeni. Gbogbo ire ìtàsù Ifá ọba olóró Àtìbàjáde Ifá ọba olóró Ose àwòrẹ́là Ifá ti gbọ́n. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Aboru Aboye. Good morning. Again, my name is Baba Anthony, and I am with Okanran Sode Temple here in Miami, Florida. Today's topic for our Ifa Temple service is one's Ori is one's charm for all successes. Now, many of you do not know that I've been a member of Ifa and Orisha practice for, like you say, for most of my life. I was introduced to this practice by my mother when I was a teenager, a young teenager. And so there's some things that I learned growing up that have shifted greatly within my practice and studies of Ifa. Now, one of the big conversations for those of us that practice the system that was developed here in the diaspora is the idea of who is the Orisha that crowns our head, or who is the Orisha that will, be with us for our entire lives. Who is the one that owns us, right? With my study of Ifa, that concept has shifted in my mind greatly. because, it's my understanding from my teachings that it's our first great Orisha is our own Ori, our own personal um, deity, right? So our Ori can be defined in so many different ways. But the three ways I want us to kind of think about it today are these. One, our Ori, or Ori can be referenced as the head of something. So for us, it's the head on our body. But the Ori of a house is its roof. The Ori of a bottle is its top where the cap is, right? So it's referred to as our head. Number two, Ori can be referred to as an extension of Olodumare, right? Ori can be referred to as the extension of Olodumare. As you learn about um, how our Oris are born or developed before we come to live this life, right? That part will make a little bit more sense later, right? Ori can be said to be our destiny. What is our purpose for this life? What do we decide we want to do? What do we want to be good at? Who are the parents we wanted to be born to? That's all a part of our destiny. And so that's also considered part of Ori. So there are many different aspects of Ori, and it could take us, a few hours to delve into each one of those different areas and break them down within Ifa practice and what it means. But today, we're going to focus on a much smaller portion of it and think of this as an introduction to what Ori is, right? And how does Ori help us? And so as I move through the sermon today, there are a set of questions or things I want us to think about. First question is, how did Ori come to become the most important deity for us, right? Why is Ori important? Did I choose an Ori for success? Right. Just a little bit earlier, I said, there are choices that we make, right? And what can I do if my Ori is off? These are the things that I want us to think about in today's conversation. So the first Odu I want to go to is the Odu of Ogundameji. And this verse itself is rather long, and it breaks itself down into actually being a story. So I'm going to go through this verse, and at the end, I'll start to discuss its meanings and implications. All right. Ogunda Meji, Ashe. Orumila declares that it is time to proceed. If I asked, who will accompany Alasana into the deep of the high seas? Shango said that he would accompany Alasana to the deep high seas. They replied, Shango, what if you were to trek for a long time and reach Koso, your father's land, and you were offered amala and big giri soup and a lot of bitter cola? Right? These are Shango's favorite items. Shango said, well, he would return, he would stay at his father's house after eating to his satisfaction, right? He would stay there and be with his people. Well, they told Shango that he was not capable of accompanying Alasana into the deep of the high seas. Ifa asked, who will accompany Alasana into the deep of the high seas? Oya said that she would accompany Alasana into the deep high seas. They replied, well, yeah. What if you were to trek a long time and reach Ira, your father's land, and you were offered your favorite food? Oya said that she would stay at her father's land, eating to her satisfaction. They told Oya, you cannot accompany Alassana into the deep of the high seas. Orumila declares that it is time to proceed. Ifa asked, who will accompany Alassana into the deep of the high seas? Usanla Obatala said he would accompany Alassana into the deep of the high seas. They replied, Usanla, what if you were to trek a long, long time and you reached Ifon, your father's land, and you were offered your favorite items, plenty of snails and osiki soup? Obatala says, well, I would be tired. I need to rest and eat and enjoy my time in my father's land and celebrate with my people. They told Obatala that you will not be able to accompany Alassana to the deep high seas. Orumila declares that it is time to proceed. Ifa asked, who will accompany Alassana into the deep high seas? Eshu Odara said that he would accompany Alassana to the deep high sea. They replied, Eshu Odara, what if you were to trek for a long, long time and reach the land of Ketu, your father's land? And they offered you plenty of roosters and palm oil to eat. Eshu says, well, I would be tired. I would need to rest and eat and stay and celebrate with those in my father's land. They said, Eshu, you would not be able to accompany Alassana into the deep sea. Orumila asked, who would be able to accompany Alassana into the deep high seas? Ogun said, I can accompany Alassana into the deep high seas. They replied, Ogun, what if you were to trek for a long time and reach Ire, your father's land, and you were offered plenty of food and palm wine? Ogun says, well, if they have my favorite food and palm wine, I would be eating to my satisfaction. I would be too tired and maybe drunk to go, so I would need to stay and rest. And they said, Ogun, you will not be able to accompany Asana to the deep high seas. Orumila said, who would accompany Alasanan into the deep high seas? Oshun said, I will accompany Alasanan, my child, to the deep high seas. They replied, Oshun, what if you were to trek for a long time and reach Ijumu, your father's land, and you were offered yanrin vegetables and agada hen, all of your favorite foods and drink? Oshun will say, well, it's my father's house. I must stay. It's only polite. I must stay and eat and relax because I would be too tired after such a wonderful meal. They told Oshun that she would not be able to accompany Alasana into the deep high seas. Rumila declares that it is time to proceed. Ifa asked who will accompany Alasana into the deep high seas. Orumila. Orumila said that he would accompany Alasana into the deep high seas. They replied, Orumila, what if you were to trek for a long time and reach Geti, the home of your fathers, and you were offered 2 swift rats, 2 big fish, 2 mature hens, and 2 mature goats, 2 mature cows with plenty of pounded yam to eat? Orumila said, well, if they're going to be having a feast, then it's only right that I stay and celebrate with those of my family and my father's land. Then they asked Orumila, who is capable of accompanying Alasanan into the deep high seas? O King, who is capable of blowing an elephant's tusk? The dark, complex man of Igeti, O Dudu, the one that protects the head of Ilemere in order for the head not to break, the one that to good to transforms to good and ill fortune head of Orumila. Orumila then replied that it was Ori. Ori is the only one that is capable of accompanying Alassana into the deep high seas. Orumila said that if a Babalao dies, his king will be taken and buried. If an Orisha priest dies, his Orisha paraphernalia will be taken and buried. If a Shango priest dies, his Shango paraphernalia will be taken and buried. He then asked, have you ever heard of a time when a person dies and their head or their Ori is cut off before he is buried? Ori is the only one that is capable of accompanying Alasanan into the deep high seas. If I am blessed with wealth on earth, it is my Ori that is responsible. My Ori and no other person. If I am blessed with spouse, it is my Oris that's responsible. My Ori and no one else. If I am blessed with children, it is my Oris that is responsible. My Ori and no one else. If I am blessed with all the Ire in life, it is my Ori that is responsible. Ori, it is you that supports one before any Orisha. There's no Orisha that can single-handedly support one without the support and knowledge and assistance of the Ori. Ashe. Okay, I know that was a long one. So we have all of these different Orisha that are asked one by one. Who would accompany Alasana, the person? Who would accompany the person from the beginning of life until the end? They were all asked individually. They were all asked the same question. If you were offered your favorite offerings, what would you do? Right? And each one of them said no, they would need to stay and visit their home. And it was only Ori, our Ori, that would be able to handle the situation of accompanying us from beginning to end. Here in this verse of Ifa, it is clear that our Ori has the position of following us from the beginning of our life to the end of our life, right? We can see that no Orisha has accepted that position or has been able to take that position of being our supporter from the beginning until the end, right? We do not have access to the deep knowledge of the Orisha until we go through Idosu, right? Orisha initiation. We do not have knowledge of the understanding of what our destiny is until we complete Itefa, Ifa initiation, right? So the first thing that we need to be thinking about as people of Ifa and Orisha is how can we take care of our Ori? How can we seek the support of our Ori so that we make all of the correct decisions in life, right? We're always going to go through challenges. There's no questions about that. But we need to start in the right place. Start with understanding that it is our Ori that is in charge of our successes. It's our Ori that guides us. It's our Ori that comes first before Orisha uh, worship or Orisha devotion. Right? I hope that's clear. Let's go to another Odu. This Odu also comes from the Odu of Ogundameji. Ashe. Let us begin. Kanragbon Lawo Kanragbon. Jagudu Lawo Jaguda. The mighty elephant is their companion in the animal kingdom. They were the Awo who cast Ifa for Orunmila when going to give support to Ori on earth. Behold, if we are fortunate to be wealthy in our lives, whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give praise and show appreciation to Ifa. Ifa retorted, it is Ori that is responsible, not Ifa. If we were fortunate to have a good spouse in our lives, whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give our praise and appreciation to Ifa. Ifa retorted, it is Ori that is responsible, not Ifa. If we are fortunate to have good children in our lives, whenever we wake up in the morning, we should give praise and show appreciation to Ifa. Ifa retorted, if we're fortunate to have good things whenever we wake up, it is the responsibility of our Ori, not Ifa. Now, my Ori, please support me. My Ori, please make me wealthy. You are the one that makes one issues paramount, your paramount concern. You are the one that comes to aid before any Orisha. Ori is the pillar of support for an Awo. Ashe. So, in this particular verse, uh, we have to think about what is being said, right? We are thankful to Ifa for our support. We're thankful to Ifa for support in all aspects of life. But Ifa is giving us the reminder that no matter what happens in our life, it is always our Ori that is responsible for the decision-making process, right? Ori is responsible for all of our success and our failures. Please hear that again. It is our Ori that is responsible for all of our success and failures in life. No matter what is said or done, is our Ori that makes the decision whether we go forward or not, right? It's our mind, our head. Whether I decide to practice Ifa or not, it is my Ori that is making that decision, right? Whether I decide to move my arm, do whatever I need to do, it is my Ori making that decision, not Ifa. I think about personally so many decisions that I've made in my life, right? And I can't remember the amount of decisions they say that the human has to make within the day, but it's a lot, right? And so I think about the important times that I've had to make decisions where I was going to go to college, when I was going to move back to Miami, all of these important decisions, right? I had the blessing to have the support of Ifa and Orisha in my life to help with guidance, right? They gave me the information that uh, helped my Ori make a decision, the pros and cons list, if you will, right? This would be a blessing. This will be a challenge, but could be a blessing. This will be a complete challenge, right? All the information was there to help me make the proper decision that I needed to make for myself. And that's what the Orisha do for us. They provide guidance and support, but they do not make the decisions for us. That is on us, right? So we have to consider that in all of the successes and challenges we make, Ifa is telling us time and time again, it is not Ifa that is responsible, it is your Ori. So please take that into consideration. Let's go to the Odu of Iwori Meiji. Iwori Meiji. To take care of a person who deserves being taken care of. To pamper the person who ought to be pampered. This was Ifa's message for Ori Monike, who brought his own lovable Ori from heaven. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. Now, let Ifa continue to pamper me. Let Ori continue to assist me. Let Aye continue to assist me. Gingerly does one collect and handle foul eggs. So I shared this particular verse because this is what I believe. All of us come to live our lives um, with a good Ori. We have the potential to have a good Ori, right? We know, as Ifa followers, we know that we need to rely on the teachings of Ifa and understand the importance of Ebo in order to support Ari. Some of us will have, we'll say, the blessing to live a life where everything will be easy. And some of us will have, you know, challenges than others, more challenges than others. But what we should know is that when we have the support of Ifa, we will have the guidance we will need to be successful. But I believe that we all came to live a life to have a good Ori. That's what I believe. All of our Oris are different, right? We're going to be successful in different ways. We're going to meet our spouse at different times. If we're having children, we're going to have our children at different times. We all have our own individual destiny, right? But the guidance of Orisha, you're going to hear me say that always throughout this entire conversation, is that we are always going with the guidance of Ifa and Orisha, never the Orisha making the decision for us, right? But our Ori making the decision, and we have the support of the Orisha. But we need to take care of our Ori at the same time. And some of you may be saying to yourselves, well, how do I take care of my Ori? How do I know if I'm making the right decision? How do I know if everything that I'm doing is correct? Right? How do I know? Well, I think one of the most important aspects, and you've heard me say this time and time again in other messages, right? If you follow us, is that Oshe Ifa is a great support, right? For those who are new and for those who are elders of this faith and practice, we practice Oshe Ifa for guidance. We practice Oshe Ifa for taking care of ourselves, for getting information from Orumila or the Orishas on how we can do things better each day. We're getting information about our character, right? We're finding out, if we're going to have challenges over the next few days. Oshifa is great. That's our personal practice. If Oshifa is not enough, then we step it up a little bit more. We go for a dafa or a reading. That dafa or reading provides information. You work closely with your Baba Ifa or your Iya Ifa to learn how you can be supported by the deities. To learn how you can be supported by Ifa and Orisha. Right? We all came to this life to live our lives with our own lovable Ori, but we must take care of it. Right? Let's understand how we can do that. One of the ways that we can do that from the Odu of Ogbedi. Ogbedi. Ashe. Dust that passes under a masquerade's Apata costume, a serious uprising, is it that shakes a city to its foundation. An oversized barn is it that caves in from the center. Awo Ramoko, the different images are carved for different masquerades. The Awo of Lagbenro. They were the Awo who cast Ifa for Ori Nin Sebayi. Ori instructs me to do things this way. He who uses coconuts to feed his Ori to acquire prosperity quickly. He was advised to offer a bow. He complied. So here we have the story of Ori Nin Senbai, right? Ori Nin Senbai was someone who was going through some challenges in his life. He was finding himself in a place where he wasn't succeeding the way he wanted to. He wasn't happy with the things that were going on around him. He hadn't uh, found success in his business yet. He hadn't found success in a relationship. He wanted to expand his family. He was facing some challenges. So he decides to go to the Babalao to have Ifa cast. So the Babalao tells him that you are facing some challenges in life. One, you came to life with a good Ori, right? But where you are right now is that your Ori is in misalignment. And so you're finding yourself misstepping from place to place, decision to decision. You're finding yourself uh, in challenges because your Ori is out of alignment, right? The Babalao compared uh, his situation to Apata. Apatas, if I can explain it as best I can explain it, was this wooden character figurine which was on top of the masquerade. It wasn't the masquerade itself, but it was like the wooden figure on top. And so as people would come by and pray to this apata, dust would be kicked up, right? When it was just a few people, it was not so bad. Sometimes it would be a lot of people, a lot of chaos, a lot of movement, and plenty of dust would be happening. But when these prayers were happening, none of this was affecting Apata. None of the dust was getting up. The Apata was up above, high above, right? So none of this was affecting Apata. So the Awo explained um, that this is what your situation is like. You're dealing with the issue of, you're making prayers, saying to Ori needs say Bai, that you're making prayers, and that what is happening is that your prayers aren't being answered, your prayers aren't being heard because your Ori is out of alignment, right? You need to make an offering or let's say, a propitiation to your Ori. You need to get coconuts. You need to get Edde shrimp, right? You need to gather these items and you need to propitiate your Ori so that your Ori will start to make the right decisions, so that your Ori will start to lift itself up. Ori Nisebai said, okay, Ashe, I hear you. So he got the Ebo and the Ori propitiation done as quickly as he could. And before you know it, things started to change. Within a week, he started to find himself in a better place, right? Months later, he met a wonderful woman that would become his spouse. Within a year, his spouse became pregnant shortly after he had his first child. And it almost seemed like Orinise Bai was like pinching himself. He was like, how could this happen? Right? If I would have known earlier that all I needed to do was to propitiate my Ori, I would have done it sooner. That's what he kept saying to himself. I would have done this sooner. Ashe. So in this particular story, uh, this is a reminder that um, while we come to live this life with a good Ori, a good lovable Ori, it will take work to make sure that our Ori is in alignment. It will take work to make sure that our Ori is in alignment. We need to understand that um, our Ori requires propitiation just like the Orishas require propitiation, right? In order for the Orisha to support us, we make our offerings, we give our prayers, we do what we need to do. But we have to do the same for our Ori. We have to start with our Ori, right? One of the songs that we sing uh, in our morning prayers that says, "One's Ori is one's good one's Ori is one's good luck charm." Ori any laude any o Ori. That one says when we wake up in the morning, we hold our Ori, right? Our Ori is our most important deity. It's the one that we are born with. We have to understand that we care for our Ori and we will start to see success. Ifa and Orisha come to support our Ori. Ifa and Orisha come to support our decisions, right? They come to help assist us get to the place that we need to be in life. But at the same time, we need to start with our Ori. So it's important we understand how we can give offerings to our Ori. And our most basic offering in Ifa and Orisha is kola nut and bitter kola nut. All right, kola nut, bitter kola nut, a little bit of water, and gin. Those are our basic items. Sometimes our Ori will require more items, food, coconut, right? You want to see your Baba Ifa or your Iya Ifa if the ask of your Ori is greater. They can support you with those ceremonies. But in the beginning, we need to focus on our Ori. We need to focus on ourselves. Our Ori is who we are. The Orisha are not who we are. Ifa is not who I am. It is my Ori, right? So we have to start with that first, identifying that. One of the things I like to do, and it's I won't say that I have a any sort of psychic ability. I'm not that type of person. I won't say that. But at times it feels as if in my own household where things can be challenging, right? Maybe we seem a little bit annoyed with each other, or maybe we have a little less patience than normal, right? It's a house with two kids, two adults, so we have these challenges. So what do I do sometimes? I say, hey guys, let's come together and propitiate our Ori. Well, they may not admit it. Like when that happens, for me, that's the most quiet time in the house. We're all relaxed. Our Oris are covered and has an offering there, right? That's in support of each other. We support each other's Oris, right? And so when we do that together, it's always a good thing. It's always a good thing. So that's where we need to start. Now, let me bring this all back together. Again, as an Ifa and Orisha practitioner for most of my life, I can't stress enough the importance of understanding Ori is the most important deity we have. That's where we start. All of the deities, icons, whatever we may gather within our lifetime, those are things that we get to support our Ori, right? The challenges and successes that we face are the responsibility of our Ori. We have all come to live this life with a good Ori, but sometimes our Ori may take a little bit more work than someone else's in order to find success. And that's okay. That's part of our own personal destiny and process. We need to understand that all of our Oris are different. Even if we have the same sign or the same Odu, my Ori is not going to be the same as the person next to me who may have the same sign, same Odu. Right? It's important to know that if we can keep our Ori in alignment, we'll find ourselves in a much happier and much more successful place on a day-to-day basis. Right? That's what's important. So I hope my explanation of what Ori is was clear again. I share this with you as an introduction into the concept of Ori. If you're not familiar with it, please reach out. Sometimes we have classes on how we go through the process of propitiating our Ori. This is something that anybody can do, whether you are um, initiated with Idosu or Itefa, or you have your hand of Ifa, right? You can propitiate your Ori. This is your own personal deity that starts with you. So, yes, you can do small things to help propitiate your Ori. And that is, again, to keep us in alignment. Reach out to us on our Facebook page, Okanran Sode Temple, or on uh, Instagram. We're also there at Okanran Sode Temple. We also have a WhatsApp Q&A, which I'll be opening up very soon. So if folks are interested in joining the Q&A, I'll keep that as a place. You can join, you can leave. It'll be an open group just to come in and ask questions and learn some things. We keep that open for folks just to learn a little bit more about Ifa and Orisha here in Miami and what's going on. And sometimes we have some really great conversations in there and uh, explain things to folks that they may have had questions about. And it's a much smaller community space than being out in a giant forum with thousands of people. So please consider reaching out and joining us. And of course, you're always welcome to reach out to me. Our phone number is on our webpage. Reach out to me personally to let me know if you have any questions about Ifa and Orisha. Just a quick announcement. This coming week is our Temple Oduni Fa. It's our temple festival, our temple celebration of our first year. We've just completed our first year of as a temple, Okanran Sode Temple. And so we'll celebrate with a festival, an Ifa festival. On Friday, we will be doing the Ebo Riru for the Odu of the Year for Ogundashe, as well as washing and feeding Ifa. Saturday, we will have some food and fellowship, if you will. And on Sunday, we will be having the casting for the temple, the next Odu for the next year for the temple. So I encourage you to join us and to come and celebrate with us. If you have questions about where things are going to be held, please reach out to us by message. I will be sharing some information via our website and Instagram. I hope you have a wonderful week. Aboru, aboye, aboshishe, oboa.